time to knock some things off your bucket list. First up, travel the world. If you've always wanted to visit Hong Kong or vacation in the Swiss Alps and wondered what it was like, well, Jeanette, Yvette, and Tina got the scoop for you. These Jet Setting Divas are always at some fun and exotic place experiencing the best of what life has to offer. And each week, they'll tell you all about it. These ladies are always high-flying loads of fun.
Hi, I'm Jeanette.
I'm Yvette.
And I'm Tina. And we are the Jet Setting Divas. Hey, ladies.
Hey,
what's
Jeanette,
going on, ladies?
What's going on?
It's
Been a crazy week. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
What's going on with these flights and these airlines?
It's been very crazy.
I don't know what is going on with people. What is going on with these airlines? There's just so much. Every time you read, or you look at the news, there's something crazy going on. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, even from earlier this week, just looking at flights being canceled at DFW, Spirit and American Airlines just shutting down in Houston and, leaving people stranded who planned and spent all this money on vacations and trips and business and work people. I mean, what do you do? I mean, what's going on?
I say, Tina, what would you do in this situation?
You know what I would do? Definitely if it was a situation where, I paid money for excursions and trips and I'm planning to be there on, maybe a very compact weekend, 3-4 day, I'm upset. If I have the money, I will go and buy tickets on another airline. But if I don't, then I'm gonna force or see if there's some way I can get a refund because you spent thousands before you even get on the plane sometimes.
Right. What I would probably do is make sure that you have money. So if something like this happened, that you can go and buy another ticket for a flight that's about to leave. And I would get insurance actually. I would purchase some insurance so that you would be able to get your money back some kind of way.
I mean, when you think about insurance, I'm like, when you're doing Spirit, I'm pretty sure you're not really taking the insurance. You're taking the loss you're taking.
Okay, but I was on a flight with Spirit. I was out in Oakland, and it was they said there was some type of pilot. They were picketing or something, and they were on boycott. And my flight was canceled out there, and I just had to wait until the next day to catch the next flight. Yeah. And it was inconvenient because everybody that I was out there with were able to come back to Dallas, and I had to stay out there. And then I had to take another day off of vacation that I hadn't planned to take from work. So honestly, I would say put your pennies back, have a little bit of extra money just in case something like this happens. Because just like Tina was saying, if I'm in a situation where I was planning excursions, I paid for a hotel.
Right.
What I'll do is I'll go ahead and buy another flight because I'll probably lose more money by not going than I would by staying.
Right. Yeah. Right. And just think about the people who don't have the money to do it and they just sitting at the airport getting mad. They didn't plan this fabulous vacation and you can't go. That is heartbreaking. You ready to go have some fun, chill, get away from work, maybe get away from some kids or get away from life and go maybe to a sandy beach or whatever, and you can't go. So it's weird.
And that's why it's always good. And we always say this on our podcast, traveling with a group, we're sharing expenses. And, we definitely cannot go. And we've heard about people who only have enough money to pay for their airfare and their hotel. And they've done that and they get there and they have no money. So, if you get to the airport and and it could have happened either way, not going, just leaving. Maybe you're there and you can't fly back home. Now you got to pay for a hotel. You got to pay for, other accommodations to maybe stay an extra night or stay. You got to be prepared for the worst when you go on a trip is what this is all telling me. Right. And if you're on an airline like Spirit that's not saying, okay, we canceled this flight, and they automatically on American start rebooking you for another flight, you have the option to call them and say, no, this don't work. But if you're on like a Spirit, they like, oh, well, you better figure it out. You pretty much, and that's a worst situation to be in.
Right.
Spirit. So I have been in that situation with Spirit. Spirit will put you on another flight, but it may, like again, I said, it may be the next day. And what I would say is it all depends on how much money you have, because if you don't have money reserved for this type of situation, I would say don't leave out the country. Maybe go on a road trip, maybe do something, a staycation in your city. Maybe you're not at the point where you've saved up enough money to go out of state. But if you're going to go out of state, really you need to have at minimum $1,000 in the bank, because you need to be ready for whatever is going to happen. I know we were in Mexico, and I was we were taking out some money with at the gas station and all kinds of stuff. So you need to be ready for whatever, because traveling, especially international, can bring forth any types of issues on the plane.
Yeah. I did see a little positive. I saw one particular person that's a friend. She said that Spirit did pay for her to go to a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And that what else? They gave them a voucher to go and fly on a different airline. And what else? Paid for their transportation to and from the airport.
I wonder what type of Spirit, because as we know that you can have different types of memberships, and was she involved in one of those packages?
I have no idea.
That is good to know, because I didn't expect, because Spirit doesn't have like business class and all of the first class that we're used to in other airlines. So I know that those are perks for other airlines. So that is really good to know about, that Spirit does kind of offer those accommodations.
I was okay, so I remember flying out to Las Vegas, and Spirit canceled my flight, and then I had to fly just like you. It wasn't really the next day, but it was like a late night flight, like a midnight flight, or something like that. So they changed our flight, and then they gave me a refund, a voucher to book another flight for the future. So, when people saying they don't do stuff, I've never come across that.
I don't know they don't do it, but I just know that for right now, as we are looking at the news, people are saying, and I don't know if it depends on where you're traveling or how much you pay for the ticket, but there are people who were on social media saying that Spirit just kind of said, your flight is canceled, and they didn't have that disaster recovery plan that started putting people on other flights or giving them vouchers. So I don't know if that was
for me. For me, I can tell you personally, I did get a voucher. I was with Spirit, so I didn't use that voucher. But I did get a voucher, and they also put me in the hotel.
Latest and greatest. I'm talking about. I know these are past, but I'm talking about the latest and greatest this week. And these things are happening.
Honestly, within the next week, we need to bring somebody on the show so they can tell us what the experiences they had. Because this was just a few years ago when I had this experience where they did put me, I was extremely angry because I was the only person that was flying back on that Spirit flight. Right. So I was the only one that was stuck there in California, and then I had to use another vacation day. But they did put me up in a hotel. It wasn't a 5-star, it might have been a 3. And they paid for my meal and they took me to the airport.
Right. And what I just mentioned about the particular person putting them in the hotel and giving them a refund. This happened yesterday.
Was that out of Houston? Was that out of Houston? Was she out of Houston?
She lived in Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was some different things going on at different airports for different reasons. So, I don't know. I'm just sipping my tea, talking about what is going on, and I just know that for what I'm seeing, airlines need to have the right things in place, because a lot of this should be automated. If your flight is canceled, they should be ready. And if Spirit got it, I'm not down in Spirit or anything. I'm just talking about some things that have happened this week, and I'm hoping that everyone got to their destination, because a lot of people that I call that I know are at the airport, they're out partying, so they got where they need to be.
Well, I'm sipping my wine. I'm not drinking tea. I'm sipping wine. And what I'll tell you is that you need to be ready for whatever. I would say if you're in an airport and your flight is canceled, you need to immediately get on your cell phone and call the airlines and start trying to get on another flight, because a lot of people don't really know what to do. So Tina, the people,
so when you're talking about ready for forever, what about if a fight break out on the plane? So what do you do then? I mean, you on the flight, you ready to go.
Get out the way.
What are you doing?
I would get out the way, but if they came over there in my area and they started all that commotion and I could get a punch in, I would.
People were pinned in their seats. Wait
a minute. Did you all see the guy? I believe he was drunk on the flight, and he started fighting the flight attendant this week, and they had to take some duct tape and tape him to the seat.
I saw that. He lost control of himself, so they had to do that for him just to keep him under control. And they were saying afterwards, how would you have handled a situation like that? But just think about it. In even past years, I even thought about being a flight attendant when I was younger, and I never would have imagined fighting with people on a plane or trying to duct tape them. It's crazy.
This is crazy. This is like, what would you do? You're in the air, you're flying, and you got a crazy person that's erratic on an airplane.
Yeah, but you see that flight attendants are taking self-defense classes. Mm-hmm. They are, you know what? I even read that they're being able to bring in other types of, not really weapons, but things like like those hog ties or those different things that they could restrain people. Because what I'm questioning is, are there really air marshals, or are they picking and choosing?
Evidently not. What are they doing? There must not have been an air marshal on that flight. There must not have been an air marshal on that flight.
So, Yvette, with that duct tape, I wonder what was that with Spirit? I can't remember what airline.
Frontier.
Okay. Yeah, it was with Frontier. Yeah, so all the airlines need air marshals, because they should see now that people are on edge. Maybe it's because they haven't traveled. Maybe it's because of COVID. Because honestly, we've talked about it on this show. We thought we were coming out of COVID, and I started back in it. Even though I'm vaccinated, I started back. I wore my mask.
I'm wearing my mask everywhere,
and I'm wearing my mask because I don't know these people.
Yeah, I don't know who's vaccinated, and I don't know and I'm also staying up on my supplements, because we think we're coming out of COVID, but maybe we're not. And maybe that's irritating people, and maybe that's got them at a state where they're just going off. I don't understand what's going on.
They're getting on the plane.
I've also read some things where people are because we've legalized certain marijuanas in a lot of states. I even read somewhere where people they've gone and had so much fun in some of these states where they can kind of be more free with their their spirit, and they are getting on planes and they are having crazy reactions. I don't know if it's the altitude or they tried to eat all their edibles before they got on the plane. I don't know what happened, but these people, we don't know who we sitting next to.
So, Tina, usually edibles make you more calm or more relaxed. So they should, honestly, if they ate too many edibles, they should just go sleep. They should be
everybody's body is different. Everybody's body is different. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
We don't know. They're drunk. They're drinking too much alcohol. I think the guy this week, I think he may have, I don't know, was a little intoxicated. Maybe he was, ready to enjoy himself wherever he was going.
Yeah. But we don't know how long they sat at the bar before they got on the plane.
No.
How long he sat at the bar, or maybe he had some of his own little shooters in his bag and
possibly
he downed them. And because I've seen people I saw someone get on a plane like maybe just a couple of months ago, and they were pretty much like so inebriated they couldn't even get on the plane. And I don't know if there's a protocol. They tell you don't bring your alcohol, but what happens if you all alcoholed up before you get on the plane?
Right.
Just as long as your seat sit down.
Like delaying these flights. What are people doing? Sitting at bars drinking.
Yes.
They're delaying flights. They gotta find something to do, so they're going to the bar.
That's what I do. I went to a bar.
If you don't get me on my plane on time, I'm gonna drink, and by the time I get on my plane, you don't know who you're gonna get.
Exactly.
So I would say, even for drinking, you still need to limit yourself so that you aren't just completely inebriated to where you can't make your flight, or where you are going to mess up the flight for everybody else. Because I know for me, I'm just going to be prayerful that on my upcoming flights that everything goes well. And that's what we have to do, because there's no telling. I mean, honestly, it's like all the airlines. It's not just Spirit. It's even American.
It's
and
everyone.
Frontier. It's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't heard a lot about Delta, and I don't know about a lot of the international, like Emirates and things like that. But look, like every airline has been having some weird things happening that we have not seen before, and I don't know what to expect when I get on I used to say I don't want to fly Spirit, but I'm like, I don't even know American. I mean, it's a lot of them. I'm like, Frontier, depending on where you're going.
I'll say just buy you some insurance.
Buy some insurance. That's the best advice.
Or right now, I talked to a lot of people today, and a lot of people are saying just don't book any trips. Just don't go anywhere. But that's hard.
You got to go somewhere. You got to go somewhere. That's what I would say. And I believe even through Spirit, they offer, when you're going through the steps of booking your flight, they offer insurance as an option. So you just have to choose it as an option, so that if your flight is something, and now it's actually a good option to choose, because the flights are being held back and there's all kinds of things are happening.
Pay that $30. Pay that $30 or however much the fee is, and secure your spot, and you just know that it may actually serve you right. Now, I also wonder if people that are getting some of these perks and benefits, they have their insurance in place, because it's becoming something that's going to be needed. It's just like a bag now.
Yeah, it is going to be needed. Because people are getting out of control and not behaving themselves. And I say people should just behave themselves on the flights. However you would want your child or your mother or your son or daughter to act, you should act that same way. You should not be fighting people on flights. It's just general things that people have started doing on flights that they've never done before. You always used to get on there and you would sit in your seat and you stay quiet. Now it's crazy.
Do y'all think of this? Do y'all think this stuff has been happening a long time, and it just never came out into the media?
I don't. I think it's new. I think it's just started happening after COVID, and I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if it's the administration previously that we had or currently. I don't know what it is, but I just don't.
People are probably more on social media, because you think as a result of COVID, they've had like a 50% increase. People who said I'd never get on social media now have social media accounts. So maybe, COVID, you have more people on social media, you have more people actually showing what's going on these planes.
I would say people are tired of being in the house.
They pick up their phone and record it.
They're tired of being in the house, and they get out, and then they don't even know how to behave when they do finally get out. So,
wow, lady, we have talked about just the airlines, the flights, be prepared. Just be prepared, and don't plan on I'm gonna say ball on the budget, but make sure you got some money just in case.
And I would say definitely, if you're going out of the country, make sure you have at least $500 to $1,000 extra in the bank, because if you're not able to replace your flight, then you may not make it, and you've got excursions, you've got hotels booked, and you'll lose all of that money. So do need, if you're not at that point, maybe you need to travel, do a staycation, or travel within your state, but maybe you're not ready at this point to travel internationally.
Yep. Any final words, Yvette? It's time for us to close out.
I think we've handled it. We've got it all handled, ladies. We've given everybody a lot of good information.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Jeanette.
And this is Yvette.
And this is Tina. And we are the Jet Setting Divas.
Everybody, let's plan and stay safe on these flights.
All right.
Tune in next Thursday when the Jet Setting Divas will tell you about another fun destination spot that you'll want to visit. For more on their excursions, log on to ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.